Okay, so let me ask, let's see, everybody, like, point to north. Which way's north? So that way? Well, you guys all drove here, you walked into the building, right? That's north, yes. That's north. That's approximately north. Okay, which would make that direction south, and would make that direction, and the one that way, east. So you guys are used to understanding the points of compass, right, on Earth as north, south, east, west, right? And you guys all watch the news at night, right? Didn't know that that's where that came from? The news, northeast, southwest, or northeast, west, south? Okay, so one of the things that's important for you guys to understand is that the sun does not rise in the same place day after day after day. Okay? So, if in about a week and a half you guys get up, right, the sun is actually going to rise exactly east. Okay? So it's going to rise exactly to the east. And it's going to set exactly to the west. But it only happens twice a year. It happens once in March, towards the end of March. Okay? And it happens again in September, just before my birthday, at the end of the month. Okay? Those two time periods are called the equinoxes. And if you look sometime in the next week and a half or so, you're going to see that if you looked at the number of daylight hours and the number of nighttime hours, that they're going to be 12 and 12. And that happens twice a year at the equinox. Right? How many of you guys have ever gone down to the beach on a nice summer's night? And it's daylight till almost 9 o'clock at night, right? You go down to the beach at, just before Christmas to go see the Newport Beach Christmas light parade, and it's dark at 4:45 or something like that. Okay, does that see the whole board, or does it see this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that I want you guys to be aware of is that as you guys look at the compass headings, that the sun is going to rise at a different spot, okay, throughout the year. So in the summertime, at our latitude, or at our latitude, the sun is going to rise to the north of east, okay, and it's going to set to the north of west. So that's summer. Okay? And this is summer sunrise. Okay, now let me ask you guys another question. Right? If I was to ask you guys to stand up right now and tell me how far above the horizon the sun is going to be today, what could you guys, how far up would you guys say? Would you say it's down near the horizon? Is it straight overhead today? No? So it's somewhere between the horizon and straight above us. You want to hear something funny? A few years ago I did this little thing where I said, okay, let's do sunset or sunrise. And then I said, now let's do, midday. And I went, oh, crud. That doesn't look right. So then I did the finger. I didn't point the finger up there. So we were going like that. It's like, ooh, that's not good. Okay, any rate, so you guys know that it's not down here. And you guys know that it's not up here. So it's got to be somewhere between there, right? Yeah? Okay. At the equinox, right, the sun is going to be about 54 degrees up at this latitude. It changes. Anywhere on Earth, it's different. About 54 degrees up at the equinoxes. In the winter, on December 22nd, it's only going to be about 32 degrees up from the horizon. So that's going to be, almost did it again. That's going to be winter, right? And then in the equinoxes, it's going to be here. So in summer, it's not overhead, but it is about right there. It's at about 79 degrees. Yeah, 79, 78. Depends, where you drive in Southern California. Okay? Now, is there a difference between 12 o'clock and noon? 12 o'clock and noon. Let me ask a different question. Is there a difference between 12 o'clock and midday? No? So I got one no. Any other takers? Midday and 12 o'clock. No difference, or there's a difference? No difference? Any other takers? All these are like, oh. Well, didn't it just get messed up 2 days ago when they went into daylight savings? So there is a difference. There's absolutely a difference between midday and 12 o'clock. Okay? So let's define, you guys might want to put this in your notes, what is midday?
Is it mid-daylight then?
Midday is halfway between sunrise and sunset. So if the sun rises at 7 o'clock in the morning and it sets at 7 o'clock at night, right? Then 6 hours away from 7 is going to be midday. Right? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Right?
What about the noon? You can consider,
Noon is the same as, or it used to be the same as midday. Okay? Now there is a huge difference. We have daylight savings. So just to give you a clearer picture of that, if you were in San Francisco, right, and I was in Blythe, California, okay, and I called you from Blythe, said, hey, Tamara, my God, there is just this beautiful sunset. It just went down past the horizon. You would look at me, you would look at the phone and go, what the frick's wrong with you? The sun's still up. But it's 7 o'clock, it's sunset. Dude, the sun's up there. It's nowhere near the horizon. Why? One is further to the east and one is further to the west. We are inside of a time zone. And actually, if it wasn't for the fact that Arizona and, I think it's Arizona, didn't use daylight savings time, I could use that as an example and get further east. Okay? So there's a big difference, right? So we have these things called time zones, and that's what 12 o'clock is tied to. In San Francisco, 12 o'clock is the same as 12 o'clock in Blythe, even though they're really far apart, and one's further east and one's further west. But noon, which is halfway between sunrise and sunset, is different for every place on Earth. So solar noon, that is the word that we will be using for midday, is when the sun is halfway between its sunrise and its sunset. Okay? Is that making sense? How many minutes are we at?
We're at 9 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, we've already established that in summertime the sun rises to the north of east. And we've established that it tracks through the south and ends up in the west, right? When you guys looked at that website, it was called Sun Earth Tools, didn't you guys see something that looked like this? It had three like arcs going across it. Yeah, you remember seeing that? Okay. Okay, what that is if this is the hemisphere of our sky, and I've got to kind of cut, I needed to do this, I haven't done it yet, I need to take this and put it on a saw and cut it halfway so that it's actually a hemisphere and not more than a hemisphere, and not be the head. But if say this is north this way, that way, and that's west, that's east, and that's south, then in the summertime we're saying that the sun rises here, and it tracks to a point at solar noon of about 79 degrees, so it goes up and over, and then it sets back here, right? And then the next thing we're saying is that at the equinox, it raises here, and it goes to about 54 degrees, and it sets there, okay? And then finally, in the winter, it rises, goes very low on the horizon and sets, okay? So now, we've got three lines drawn there, right? But when you look at them straight from above, okay, you're going to get that symbol that you saw in Sun Earth Tools, okay? And that's what I want you guys to be aware of. You guys need to be able, using Sun Earth Tools, to tell me where the sun rises, where it is, where the sun rises in the summer, the equinoxes, and the winter, and then where it sets in the summer, equinox, and the winter. Okay? Now, in order to establish how we tell somebody that, we need to talk about something different. So let's stop that.